I didn't. So I have to make that a required field. So that they can't even finish that page of the application unless they go veteran. So
Because otherwise, if we don't, we just go clear down the bottom and then we have to search. The
Yeah.
property owner just to see which one. Unless you got corporation, but if they put it in a trust name or a LLC, can we still claim veterans?
I need all the attention I can get. Keep it going.
you can
You
put a
you from the state board of known as a plaintiff.
Like this?
That would be an issue.
Do it. Box seats.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. We'll call this somewhat special meeting of the Wapello County Board of Supervisors to order. First item is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 2, minutes of June 25, 2024 board meeting.
I'll move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3, approve ballot language for local option sales tax. This is the next step in the process of getting the local option sales tax put on the ballot. The date of the election will be September 10th, correct, Kelly? So the date of the election will be September 10th. Our language does not change. I think it's really seemed for the last, well, at least 10 years that this has been in effect. And I think it actually went back before that. The split out between 50% of it going to bridges and culverts, 25% for rural property tax relief, and 25% for capital projects, infrastructure needs.
I was just gonna try to get the word. I was gonna get the word out.
Haven't even been drinking this morning. Maybe that's the problem. So I think to go in a little bit on it, the bridges and culverts, I think we've been able to really make that money work for us. I think there's about 800,000 goes into that account a year, and using the federal bridge swap program and a lot of projects, we can take 20% of a project. We're only paying 20% of a project, so it really stretches the money out farther. And I think one of the best uses for this, citizens' complaints, of course, is infrastructure, and Iowa is deficient in a lot of areas in bridges and culverts. In this scenario, I think Wapello County has done a good job in the last 10 or 12 years of trying to stay on top of some of those. And there's always those things that come out. The rural property tax relief, this has helped us keep rural property taxes lower than what it would have otherwise. So that portion of the money literally just goes into the rural fund that helps pay for sheriff deputies, cars, different things that go out of the rural, along with rock budgets, different things like that when we transfer from rural into the secondary roads. And then the 25% for capital projects and infrastructure needs. We just approved one last week that will be paid out of this fund, and that's the air unit at the jail. And I think Don did a good job of explaining the true importance of that. Well, that was a $32,000 bill that there's no money in the LEC maintenance fund for something like that. We start dipping into our carryover balances or our budgets for things like that. It just makes things even tighter. So the elevator that was done at the jail, we'll probably spend some for the window projects, possibly out of that. We're not totally sure yet, but it helps us contribute to things like Ragbri, the Naval Air Station, the Babe Ruth World Series when it was here a year or two ago. It really helps promote and build good things in the community, along with paying for those needs that pop up throughout the year that are frankly just unseen, but will still need done. So again, no change of what we've been doing on it. I think it works really well. So anyone want to add anything? All right, any questions?
So how much does the county get annually lost revenue? And does it stay pretty consistent year over year, or does it kind of fluctuate a little bit?
It's relatively consistent. Kelly, about 1.6, 1.7 million. It's right around in that. I think the part with the half going to the bridges and culverts is around 800 to 900,000 a year. And then of course the other two would be about 400 to 450,000 a year. It relatively stays the same. I noticed the report we got the other day, it was down 7 or 8,000. They'll do adjustments on that. Usually it's in November. But throughout the year, we were really worried coming out of COVID and going into COVID, whatever, what's that going to do for our local option tax? Because of course people wasn't in the stores like they could have been before. Well, the state mandated that if you buy something on Amazon, you buy something online, you're paying taxes on it. So that in turn helped us, and that we actually seen a bump in the local option tax for that reason. Because if you remember 4 or 5 years ago, you go buy something on Amazon, it was tax free. So
Can you kind of speak to what property tax relief really is? I mean, is it just what it says, property tax relief for taxpayers, or? Because I know there's been a little bit of a misconception about what property tax relief really entails, because, you know, landowners will say, well, it's not property tax relief, I'm paying more in property taxes. Just kind of speak to what property tax relief is and
Sure.
kind of what it does for the county.
And I think I'm going to take you all right.
Yeah, you're
Okay. So I think maybe the easiest way to describe it is in terms of the city where they have their general levy. So they do, they're doing 10 or 15% in property tax relief. So the money that's then collected from local option tax goes into their general fund budget to help pay for police, fire, parks, salaries, everything that goes into that general fund. If you don't have that money going into it, you either A, cut services, or B, you raise property taxes. So the same with this in the rural levy, as I said, if we didn't have another $400,000+ a year going into that rural fund, we would either have to look at cutting secondary road workers or cutting projects out of that budget or raise those taxes up. And of course, now with 718, that makes us hard. It makes it harder. And I think that was a lot of the city's conversation of raising, because I think they were doing 10% before, and I think they raised it to 15, if I remember right, whatever it was. That helps put some more money in their general fund to save jobs, get projects done, keep parks mowed, keep, public safety at the forefront, different things like that. So it's taking from your local option tax and putting into your general fund. A few years ago, Blakesburg actually amended their local option vote by petition because they had no money to do anything on streets or even pay, I believe, like the street lights. So they amended that to where I believe about all of their money now is classified as property tax relief. So that goes into their general fund to help keep their city running.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's been talk, not certainly from you guys, but also the city, about the discussions that are being had up by the state, about taking local option sales tax away from the local entities and, distributing it on a rational basis, I guess, on population, right? Irrational, rational,
Right.
whatever you want to call it. Is this more to kind of say, look, we have this in place, even though the current, I think, expires at the end of next year, right?
Correct. Yep.
So to renew it now, is this just to make sure you kind of have that mechanism in place to say, look, we've already got this and we've re-upped it for another 10 years or whatever
Right.
it is. Is that kind of why, we're doing this now?
Well, I think we can never be sure what the state's going to do. As I'd said a few months ago when I was up at ISAC, one of the senators that I think's the lead on the local option tax pretty much said next year it's going to happen. You don't know that though. So the last thing we want is to rely on the theory that, well, the state's just gonna take it, we ain't gonna do anything with it. So this will be in place, in case they don't. And, I'm always apprehensive when the state takes the money and reallocates it, but a number of years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, citizens of Iowa voted on a 3/8 cent tax for, a Clean Water Act is more or less what it was. So the debate and the fight for all that time, even though citizens approved a tax increase for this cause, it was never implemented because no one could figure out what to do with the other 5/8 cents. And that's what a lot of this really comes to. So then that 3/8 will go into more of the clean water and conservation type initiatives. And then the other 5/8 will be dispersed through the county. I think they were talking maybe about some mental health funding, that which would be wonderful. But so that I think is kind of the background of why they're even talking about taking it over is with that vote. They say that counties will reap more of a benefit of it. There's the other side of things where you have, like, I think it's Des Moines or Waukee or one of those areas up there that voted down their local option tax. When that, I think there's a little bit to me that I would like there to still be a vote for the people to actually vote on what the money in the counties or the cities go to. So then that way there's something to go by on it, even if the state takes it over. But we'll see what they do. So us doing this really doesn't have anything to do with the state. We're gonna do this just to pretend everything's gonna be status quo for the next 10 years.
I could also say that with our local option sales tax, with the revenue that we get in, so we figure probably $100,000 a year that goes to the local agency. We'll see what our total expenditures are, and we'll subtract off the 400, and that's what we figure our levy rate on. So we're not using our full levy rate that we could use for rural services. We're reducing it by the income that we get out of the local option sales tax. So that's how we can justify that we're giving a tax break to the citizens in the rural by lowering the levy rate, which produces their property taxes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I always like to think about, we've had some property tax reductions because of the elderly and the veterans. And so this helps backfill that a little bit, even though that's indirect, it still helps to relieve that burden that is on us if we don't have that. And then I also like the idea that local option tax does not apply to grocery items. There's no sales tax on grocery items, and so therefore there's no local option tax. So I think the public needs to know that.
Anything else? Anything to add?
Nope.
Anything else?
Good.
Good. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the ballot language.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? MOU regarding reimbursement from the Mental Health Agency of Southeast Iowa for county employees' occupancy and equipment. This is a MOU that's entered into, I believe, every year. What this does, it lays out the employees that are county employees, but they are reimbursed through the region. There's 5 employees. 4 of the 5 employees are 100% reimbursed through the region. 1 employee is 80% reimbursed. The other 20% of her salary, she does our general assistance, does the general assistance for the county. So this is just like I said, a normal yearly thing that's done every year, laying out their salaries and certifies that it's reimbursed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Revised Wapello County employee salaries FY 24-25. Kelly, what was revised on this? Okay.
today at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the revised report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6, signed deed for closed and vacated street in an unincorporated Bladensburg, vacated on resolution number 18, 2024. We vacated the street and this would just be signing the deed over to the Bladensburg, Christian Church.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other business to come before the board?
I wanted to comment on the fire truck status. It looks like the bonding is going to be a challenge if we go that route, but the USDA is still in the game. And so they are back talking to us. If we can do USDA, it'd be a 4% loan for the fire department. We would still have to put the title of the truck in our name as the county. So that's ongoing. We'll see what happens.
Perfect.
So
Could never be easy.
no.
Is there any timeline for this, Brian, or do you know for sure, or we're?
Well, the possession date of the truck would be 16 months out. So we've got a little time to finalize the deal.
Okay.
So. Yep.
Rag
Anything
Bry's
else?
coming.
Ragbri's coming.
Anything on Rag Bry? Everything going good?
As far as I know. Like I said, I got a list of potholes and stuff I need to make sure that secondary roads has, and I think there's some work that's been done on 73rd between here and agency, and a lot of little things, so.
I think Mark's getting the checks out to agency now, so.
Those were, I think, wrote yesterday.
I might comment on the discussion last time about the Civil War Cemetery. I talked to Lisa Kent, and she's indicating that the plot that's out there right now is still owned privately. And so my thought is maybe we could propose to that landowner that it gets surveyed off separately and in the possession of the county or the township. So that's one thought on that. I'd like to keep working on that topic.
Very good. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.